good to go? Yes?
There we go.
All right. Well, welcome to everybody out there in Facebook land. Now, welcome to all you guys here. So, let's take care of the important stuff first. How many of you guys have something that looks like this? Everybody does, right? We all do. Greetings, man. Greetings, greetings. All right. So, if you do have something that looks like this, please turn it off or turn it on stun, or let's turn these suckers off so that we're not disturbed by our phone for the balance of this morning. So the second thing is, so we are a mastermind. What are we, guys?
A mastermind.
Yeah, and that also includes, by the way, all the people that are watching. And what is a mastermind? If you know out in Facebook land, what? By the way, Amy, do we have anybody viewing with us? Can you tell?
We do. Drew Mercer is watching with us.
Drew.
Good morning, Drew.
We
and
love Drew.
Bellin is with us.
Okay, greetings. I was hoping they were going to come today.
Well, she might be. Sometimes they watch while they're getting here.
You're right. That's true.
And then Esteban Villarreal Benitez is with us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Charlie Pillow is watching.
Outstanding. All right, so we have a good group of people here. So I want for you guys to participate as if you were actually here. So we're a mastermind. So what are we, guys?
A mastermind.
Thank you. A mastermind. Now, who knows what a mastermind is? VP, what is a mastermind?
When two or more minds come together in the spirit of harmony.
Yes, and it creates synergy. What's the word, guys?
Synergy.
Yeah, in other words, 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 plus 1 actually equals infinite. Because when you blend your ideas with other people's ideas, and your knowledge with other people's knowledge, you can come up with infinitely more ideas than you can come up with on your own. How many would agree? Yes, how many would agree? Right? Okay. So when's the best time to mastermind?
Right now.
Yeah, right now. When else?
Anytime.
Yeah, with who?
With everybody.
Yeah, because everybody, if you blend the best of what you got with the best that they got, you come up with something amazing.
Yes.
That's why I say the word namaste. What does namaste mean?
My heart feels your heart, or something like that.
When my highest self is with your highest self, we are one. Good or good?
Good.
Don't you want to be in your higher self, surrounded by other people that are in their highest self?
Yes.
Is that a special vibration?
Yes, sir.
How many would agree? That's a huge vibration, right? So when you're in a spirit of harmony, right? Isn't that the expression, Randy? Spirit of
harmony.
How many would agree? Spirit of harmony.
Yes, sir.
So when we're all together here in a spirit of harmony, because my hope is we're all here to mastermind on how to become financially free. How many of you guys would like to become financially free?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we're going to talk about it, in fact, in the wealth file. Today's wealth file, Harv says the problem with most people is everybody says they want to be financially free. They don't even know what financial freedom is. And they don't even know what would it take for them to really be financially free. Do you guys really believe you need to be $500,000 to be financially free?
No.
No. If you have $10,000 a month coming in for the rest of your life, are you financially free?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not a big lump sum of money. You don't need millions. You need passive income streams, right? This is what you need. So Harv says right from the get-go, what does he say? He says if you want to become financially free, and now, hey, by the way, let's give it up for Corey, guys.
Hey, Corey.
Look at all this amazing stuff. We have blocks, we have bagels, we have fruit, we have yogurt, we have juices, we have cake. Oh my gosh, I mean, Corey always does such a great job. And by the way, if you need a great mortgage, Corey is definitely the man to see, right? Yeah. Absolutely. He's just a great, great guy. We love him to death. Thank you again, Corey. Again, well, let's give it up for Corey, guys. Come on, come on. Okay, so we're here to mastermind on how to become financially free as quickly as possible. How many of you guys would like to become financially free? What's the definition of financial freedom?
The ability to live the lifestyle you desire without having to work or rely on anyone else.
Yes, the ability to live the lifestyle you desire without having to work or rely on anyone else for income. Greetings, have a seat, make yourself at home, grab some food. Right? Okay, so that's the definition that all of us should be using all the time. The ability to live the lifestyle you desire. How many would like to live the lifestyle you desire? Great. Without having to work. Is that a key component?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
How many think that being able to become, having a lifestyle of living what you want without having to work, how many would like to have that choice? And the word is to have that
Choice.
What's the word, guys?
Choice.
Yeah, choice. To be able to live that life without having to work or rely on anyone else for income. That's the definition of financial freedom. Okay? That's what we're here to mastermind on. And what Harv says in the book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, is that by the time we were teenagers, if we needed money and we went to our parents, what did they generally say? Go to work. Go get a
Job.
Raise your hand if you ever heard that. Who went out? How many of your parents said, "Well, go get some passive income stream"? Right? Now that, of course, that happened later on in life when you got into your high school years and you got into your college years, right? That's when
You're dreaming.
Right, exactly. And therein lies the problem: is that none of us, and I mean none of us, have been programmed and conditioned to become financially free. Because all of us have been programmed from the time we were old enough for our brains to understand things, that if we wanted money, we had to go to work. So there's only one kind of income we've been programmed to create. That's called working income. How many would agree you have working income? When you're not working, how much income are you earning?
0.
How much?
0.
You know, okay, and out there, at the same thing, isn't that true for everybody out there as well, right? If they're not working, they're not earning any income, right? Well, if it's in your DNA to work for income, how are you ever going to become financially free?
It's gonna be hard.
How are you ever going to become financially free if the only kind of income you earn is working income? You're not. Okay. So, which means that right now your DNA, you know, they say there's 8,760 hours in a year. Multiply 8,760 times your age, and that's pretty much how long you've been programmed to think working income. That's what your computer program is, and you know what? You know the old expression, you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Your DNA is, if I want income, I have to go to work. How many would agree? Do you think that's true for everybody out there? Okay, now if you knew from age 2, 3, 4, 5 that if your goal was to become financially free, that the only way you were ever going to become financially free was to create passive income streams, when do you think you would have started working on and learning and mastering how to create passive income streams?
At a young age.
Yeah. And by the time you're 20, guess what?
You would have been financially free.
Yeah. We have a whole generation of kids right there, right now. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. If they got this programming instead of the bullshit that they're getting, pardon my language, the amount of time it would take for them to go through education would be half, and they would go into the world a million times better prepared to be successful.
That would be entrepreneurial thinking.
Well, you know what? When
Radical idea.
Andrew Carnegie, how many guys know who Andrew Carnegie is? When Andrew Carnegie spoke with Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie said, I believe that we could reduce the amount of time kids need to spend in school and double the efficiency if we simply change what they were being taught. Instead of forcing them to learn facts and figures and memorizing things, we taught them how to think creatively, use their mind, solve problems, and deliver value to people. These kids would be a million times better off. Yes, go ahead.
Andrew Carnegie or Dale Carnegie?
Andrew Carnegie, who was the steel magnate, right? U.S. Steel, multi-millions, right? Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie Hall's named after him. Carnegie Institute's named after him. He was at one time he was the wealthiest man in the world, and he was really Napoleon Hill's introduction to presidents and inventors and the most famous people in the world. Through Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill had letters of introduction to all these people, right? So we're masterminding here. So it's important that we all understand a very, very, very critical thing. That of all the information that's out there in the universe on creating passive income, all the information, just on that one subject, creating passive income, on that one subject alone, what percentage of all the knowledge that's out there on creating passive income do you think you know?
Not much.
Less than 1%? Less than 1% of 1%? Yeah, I would say less than 1% of 1% of 1% of 1%. And unfortunately, half of what you do know is bullshit. So you got to be careful here. So what I'm saying is, with a mastermind, we're talking about creating passive income streams. I know things, Robert knows things, Scott knows things, BP knows things. We all know certain things that we bring to the table. True.
True.
So for some things, when you hear it, it reinforces what you already knew. But when you have a thought that hasn't been expressed that you think brings value to the group, what do you want to do as part of the mastermind?
Sure.
You want to share it. So how many would agree that if you're willing to be open, what's the key word?
Open.
Yeah, the best ideas. By the way, how many of you guys are receptive to receiving some amazing ideas this morning? Because I already know the ideas I'm going to be sharing with you. They're fantastic. So I guarantee you, anything you add to it's going to make it that much more fantastic, right? Yes, go ahead.
Well, I want to add something then.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
anyone that's my friend on Facebook,
Yes.
I think my page might be open, so you might not have to be my friend to go to my page and see this. But I was at an event on Sunday, and a little girl was there. This little small child sang this song about. They taught her at her school, and it's 7 Habits of Leadership, and I could not believe it. So after she did it for a crowd of about 100 people, I had her come do it just for me, and I posted it on my wall.
Oh, wow.
Because here we're always talking about how that would be so awesome if we could get them at that age.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's super cute. And if you listen carefully and you hear that what she says the 7 habits are,
Yeah.
it's adorable. And I loved it. And I need to find out more where that school is. And you know,
Well, here's the thing. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Is that the more aware we are, the more we can practice it in our lives, and especially especially if you have kids. Boy, I mean, transferring this information. I look at BP, and King Leon.
right.
And you say, holy cow, look at Leon, boy, because BP is already at that point of consciousness, maybe I want to call it, where he can really give King Leon a huge head start in life. How many would agree? The sooner in life you plant these seeds, the deeper the roots become. True.
True.
If you plant seeds of success, of confidence, of initiative, of faith, of understanding, of passion, of drive, if you plant these seeds early in life, they're going to have them their whole life. True. That's just going to be part of who they are. Isn't that true? It's like, we live who we are. We don't realize it. It's kind of like, I always use the analogy, a fish living in water. When does a fish realize it lives in water?
It's out of water.
When it's out of water. And you can't realize you're living with the kind of life you're living compared to the kind of life you should be living until you get out of the kind of life you're living, or at least train your mind to disassociate. What's the word?
Disassociate.
Come on, twice as loud.
Disassociate.
Yeah, train yourself to be able to disassociate from your mind, because one of the things we teach in warrior training, which is absolutely 100% true, is you are not your mind. How many understand what I just said? You are not your mind. Right? You are not your mind, just like you are not your hand. Your mind is like a container. Your mind is like the container. That's all it is. Right? Now, either randomly information has been put inside that container, right? But you're just the container. You're like the hardware. You're the computer. You're not the software. You're the computer. Now, if other people have installed the software that you're running on, which, by the way, how many believe that you're running on other people's software? Raise your hand if you really totally under. Whose software are you running under? Whose? Give me some examples.
Teachers.
Wait, are some of you running under your parents' software?
Definitely.
You are a lot of who you are because of your mom or your dad or what they believed or what they said, right? I mean, your parents were Democrats, so you're a Democrat. Your kids will be Democrats. It's like this. What's that? Nature versus. Well, and also, what's the old expression? The apple doesn't fall too far from the
Tree.
How many believe that's true? Absolutely. As a kid, where do you spend most of your time? With who?
Your parents.
Well, guess who's in your computer every day when they're telling you stuff? That's like a new computer program. Guess whose program is deep inside your roots right now? Now, if you really didn't like it, you rebelled, you became the exact opposite. Otherwise, you're exactly them. True or true? It's one or the other. If they were really, really tight with money because they didn't have much of it, and you thought they were cheap, you said, "I'm not going to be cheap. No way, not me. I'm not going to be cheap." And so, what do? Every time you get money, what do you do with it? Yeah, to show that you're not cheap. In the meantime, you're broke all the time. So that wasn't the answer either, was it? No. We do know what the answer is. Do you guys know what the answer is for no matter who they are? The money management system that we covered just a couple of phone calls ago. If you follow that money management system, it's impossible for you, no matter which of the 4 different groupings you could fall into. Who knows what the 4 different groupings are?
Oh, with the jars?
Yeah. There's one group are the spenders, the next group are the savers, the next group are the money monks, and the last group are the avoiders, right? So the spenders are, I got money, let's go spend it, right? The second group are, I got money, I gotta hoard it because I might run out of it. I gotta save as much as I can, right? They're more saving oriented than spending oriented. Number 3 are money monks, and they say, money? That's a 30 word. I'm elevating at this level up here. Up here, money is a 30 word. So don't even talk to me about money. I'm beyond that. Okay, that's the money monk, right? Raise your hand if you know those people, by the way.
What if you are those people? Raise your hand.
Okay. And then the avoiders, they just stick their head in the sand. They let the bills pile up month after month after month. They don't even want to open them up and look at them. Raise your hand if you know those people, right? If you know them intimately, right? So we have all these different kinds of people. No matter which one of those 4 groups, one of the great things about the MMI is that you will learn a money management system so that no matter if you're any one of those 4, then you know what the answer is? Follow the system. Follow the system. Follow the what? System. Yeah, absolutely. Now, what I hope that during our masterminding here on Tuesday mornings, that you understand that for me, one of the most important things that I hope I can tattoo into your DNA from now until forever is that there are winning systems for doing everything that you do not have to invent because they already exist. How many believe that's actually true? There's winning systems for marketing, there's winning systems for sales, there's winning systems for money management, there's winning systems for marketing, there's winning systems for time management, there's winning systems for exercising, for nutrition, for any area of your life that you want to excel at. Are there already winning systems? Raise your hand if you believe there are. There's not an area of your life where if you wanted to excel, there isn't already a system that if you learned it, you could beat it. True or true? So your job is to learn, find, and seek out these
Systems.
And what's the word?
System.
What's the word?
System.
Do you believe there are systems to create financial freedom quickly? Raise your hand if you believe that's true. If you don't believe there are systems to create financial freedom quickly, then chances are you won't create financial freedom quickly. You guys understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. How many different ways do you think there are to create financial freedom quickly in 2019? Do you think there's 1 way, 2 ways, 3 ways, 5 ways, 10 ways? How many ways?
Thousands.
How many?
Unlimited.
Give me a number.
1 million.
1 million? How many think there's 1 million ways to create financial freedom in 2019? How many think there's more than 1 million? Yeah, there's so many ways. Guess what? How many ways you need to find?
One.
How many?
One.
And in 12 to 24 months, when you find that system and you focus all of your energy, and the key word is to focus. What's the word, guys?
Focus.
Yeah, because nobody focuses. Is focus important?
Yes.
Why is focus important?
So all your energy and everything goes into that one specific thing.
Yep. Why? Why is that important?
So it what's it called? Magnifies.
Yeah, absolutely. You bet. You know, I use the analogy all the time. In the summertime, does it get hot here?
Yes.
Yeah, you go out into the desert. Is it possible to be 120 degrees outside?
Yes.
Yeah, there could be a piece of wood, dead wood, laying in the desert, And how long is it going to take in that 120-degree temperature for that piece of wood to catch on fire? How long is it going to take for that piece of wood to catch on fire? It's 120 degrees outside.
7 minutes.
7 minutes? Is it possible it could go forever without ever catching on fire?
Yeah.
But what if we took a magnifying glass, and now we took that magnifying glass on that 120-degree day, and took all the energy from the sun through that magnifying glass, and now it's just a beam on that piece of wood. How long is it going to take for that piece of wood to catch on fire? So from infinity, it never catching on fire to within minutes it's on fire. True or true? True. Because of the word focus. What's the word? Focus. You guys understand? How many of you guys want to 10x your income? By the way, why is that important? Why? How many know the rule of 72? What's the rule of 72 say? If you want to double your money, take 72 and divide it by whatever interest rate you're earning. So if you're earning 10% interest, right, and it's compound interest. What kind of interest? Compound. What does compound interest mean?
Over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's like the money grows to a certain amount. Now that new amount grows to an even bigger amount, and then that bigger amount even grows to bigger. It's not like simple interest. Who knows what simple interest is? What's simple interest?
Once.
It means if you have $100 and you're getting 10% simple interest, at the end of year 1, you'll get 10%. You'll get a check for $10. At the end of year 2, you'll get a check for $10. At the end of year 3, you'll keep getting the same check every time. That's simple interest. Compound interest means you're getting interest on the
Interest.
Yeah, is that important?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, rule of 72, and you guys need to know this because if you want to become financially free and you want to do it quickly, you better understand what this is. Rule of 72. So, whatever the interest rate is, divided into 72. So, let's say you're earning 10% compound interest. So, what are you earning?
10%.
Okay, so that would equal 7.2 years. That means every 7.2 years, if you were earning 10% interest, at the end of 7.2 years, your $10 becomes $20. You guys understand what I just said?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what if you're earning 12% interest? Now it's down to 6 years. Right? 2% more means you're doubling your money every 6 years. So 100 becomes 200, becomes 400, becomes 800, right? Now, imagine if you could figure out a way to get it up to 36%.
Not hard to do, by the way.
Okay, if you do okay. Now you're doubling your money every 2 years. But what if you could learn how to market, and instead of getting 36% a year, you were getting 36% a month, and you were just reinvesting that money? You guys understand what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Marketing is the best investment you will ever make in your life, because if you invest $1 in marketing today, and within a week you make $3, you tripled your money. True or true?
Right.
But you didn't triple in a year, you tripled it in a few days. Now, if you could be tripling your money every few days instead of once or twice a year, you see how quickly you can grow your money? That's why if you're 10xing your income and you're investing that money and getting 10x on that money, you're going to go from small to financially free quickly. Now, in order to do that, first of all, you have to start thinking much bigger than what you're thinking right now. How many would agree? Right? How many want to become financially free? Thank you. Okay, so if you want to become financially free, it's going to require you creating passive income. How many would agree? Right? Okay, and if you're going to be creating passive income, where's all that passive income coming from? Where's it coming from?
Other people.
Thank you. It's coming from who?
Other people.
Come on, are you guys awake? Look, everything is energy. How many would agree?
Yes.
You guys, how many here in this room really want to make a lot of money? Do you think creating a lot of money is going to require a little bit of energy or a lot of energy?
A lot.
And I see people all day long walking around sleepwalking through the day saying they want to get rich. If you're not going to play it 100% in here, I guarantee you're not going to play 100% out there. True or true?
True.
How you do anything is how you do
Everything.
And if you're in here playing at 50%, you're never going to get rich. You're never going to become successful. Never. It's not going to happen for you until you raise your energy level 10 times more than what it currently is. And you get into the habit. What's the word?
Habit.
Of vibrating at that higher energy level, you will never attract the money you want or the things you want. What you want and the people you want, the success you want is vibrating up here, and you think when you're vibrating down here, you're going to attract it? Bull crap.
True.
So how you do anything is how you do
Everything.
If you don't play it 100% in here, I guarantee you, I know it. I can look at every single one of you guys in the eye, and I guarantee it. If you're not playing it 100% in here, you're not playing 100% out there. This is not like you're taking a break from life right now. This is life. How you are in here is how you are out there. If you're a low energy person in here, I guarantee you know how you are out there? You think low energy is going to create financial freedom?
Nope.
If you were in a mastermind, and in a mastermind, don't you think a mastermind would say, if you're going to create real freedom, make an impact, change a lot of people's lives and create passive income streams, it's going to require a ton of energy. Would you agree with that person?
Yes.
How will you know if you know it?
Because you have the results to show it.
Because you'll be taking the actions, you'll be living it. If I don't see you playing 100% in here, I already know you're not playing 100% out there. Because we lie to each other all day long. Yeah, I'll play 100%, and then they go back to playing 50% because that's all they're so used to. True or true? 50% will not cut it. 50% is average. You know what average gets you in this world?
Average.
Below average results. Because everybody's average. If you're not interested in becoming above average, you have no chance. By the way, how many people in this room believe in their heart of hearts, if they focused, and what's the key word?
Focus.
On growing themselves, they could be way above average. Okay, well, everybody's average. Because they got the same programming you do. And until you're committed to changing your programming, you know, what's going on inside your mind all day long, because we're running on our parents' programming, our teachers' programming, society's programming, true. And the problem is, we don't even realize it because that's who we are, so it's so natural for us, we can't even get out of our own way.
True.
This is how it is. This is why we're our own worst enemy. This is why in Outwitting the Devil, in the book, when you read it, what does the devil say to Napoleon Hill? He says, hey, when you're kids, I'm going to introduce you to all kinds of bad habits. And as you grow older, I'll introduce you to even more. And by the time you're a teenager, you'll be so infested and infected with all these bad habits, your chances of being successful when you get older are slim or none. I've got you. Now you're a drifter. You're going to have tons of bad habits. You're not going to live your passion in life. You're not going to get great at anything because I've got you in my grip. And there's only 2% that actually outwit the devil.
The devil.
Only 2%. By the way, I don't believe it's 2%. Because we're all infected with these terrible viruses, and we don't realize we have viruses because they're so normal to us. That's who we are. True or true?
True.
But when you're vibrating at the highest of levels, you know deep down inside that you could be doing a lot better if you stop listening to your false self. True or true?
True.
And that's what I believe. I see inside of every single one of you guys right here superstars. Financially free people within the next 12 to 24 months if you simply focus. What's the word?
Focus.
On just moving the bar, getting out of your own way, saying, you know what, this program on working hard to make money, I'm gonna remove that program, and in its place, I'm gonna create opportunities for me to maybe work hard for a little bit of time, and then I'm gonna have VAs do all the work, and I'm not gonna do any work. And now I'm gonna have money coming in without me doing any work. And now all your strategies are figuring out how to create something where you have money coming in without doing any work. How many want to do that? Okay, so is that a different way of thinking? Are those opportunities out there?
Yes.
Okay, so what we want to do is, and in this book, in Wealth File that we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking specifically about the difference between you working and exchanging your life energy for money, and then replacing your life energy for money with other people's life energy or your money's energy, creating that money for you. Which would be better?
Second one.
Except we've all been programmed that we have to trade our life energy in order to get money. We're exchanging our energy for money energy. True or true?
True.
But what if I was to say to you, no, that's what we've all been programmed. That's like leading everybody to the cliff. So we can all go off the end of the cliff. That's not the way the game is played at all. The way the game is played is you use your thinking, so you work smart instead of working hard, and you say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure out one system. One what?
System.
A business system. What's it called?
A business system.
And who knows what the definition of a business system is?
Huh.
Repeatable process.
Yes.
Produces a
Yeah, a repeatable process that produces a
profit.
What's the word, guys?
Profit.
One more time.
Profit.
Yeah. Are there other systems besides business systems?
Yes.
Yeah. But a business system must produce a
Profit.
Otherwise, you're not going to be in business very long. True. Okay. All right. So we have to create something, a repeatable, duplicatable system that produces a
Profit.
So if I come up with one way, a system, a business system, where maybe I'm going to, right now I'm using LinkedIn, so I'll use that as an example. And other times I've used radio, I've used print media, but right now I'm using, so a system. So do you have a system that creates a profit? How do you meet your perfect prospect? How do you talk to your perfect prospect? How do you sell your perfect prospect? And when you do sell them, how much profit do you make? Now, if let's say every time you sold one of your perfect prospects something, you made $2,000. How much? $2,000. Okay. So how many of you would like to be able to do that once a month? How many would like to be able to do that once a week? How about once a day?
Even better.
How about once an hour?
Yep.
Okay, so it's called time compression. What's it called?
Time compression.
Yeah, and what we're going to do in 18 to 24 months is what the average person does in 10 years. You guys understand the difference?
Yes.
When you compress time, and you do in a short amount of time what the average person does in a big amount of time, the results are going to be through the roof. Now, that's why it's so important that we use this word leverage. What's the word?
Leverage.
Leverage is the key for all of us becoming financially free fast. It's impossible. Or I would say nearly impossible. If someone can tell me another way without using leverage, I don't know it. It's impossible for us to become financially free in the next 12 to 24 months without using the word leverage. So who knows what the word leverage is? Randy?
Taking advantage of other people's energy, effort, other people's money, using money to create more money.
Yeah. Anybody else want a definition? A definition of the word leverage.
Like disproportionate exchange. You put a little in, you get a lot more.
Thank you. Very, very good. So I like to use this definition for leverage, getting the most out of the least. Getting the most out of the least. That's leverage. Right? So if I can make $200 an hour, let's say we figured out a way where every time you sell somebody something, you're going to make $200 an hour. And you don't really want to do the work, but you can hire a VA for $5 an hour. and you hire 10 of them. So that's $50 an hour. If you're making $200 an hour and you had 10 VAs doing the work for $50 an hour, you're still making how much?
150.
But how much of the work are you doing?
None.
Okay, so among the many, many, many things that I want for you guys to write down and tattoo to your brain is you have to stop thinking this word right here. What's the word?
Tactical.
And you must start thinking this. What's the word? Strategic. Everybody thinks tactical. We want to think strategic. What's the difference? Who knows the difference between tactical and strategic? Ryan?
Tactical is the people that do it, strategic is the people that think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. You can either be the person that actually does the work all day long, or you can be the person that's figuring out what's the work is that you want these people to be doing. So to be tactical, generally, you got to be on the job. True or true? True. Yeah. To be strategic, where can you do your thinking from?
Bora Bora.
Bora Bora. True or true? Now, if you had a choice, you could be tactical or you could be strategic. Which do you think would be the better choice?
Strategic.
But what do you think 99.9% of all people are?
Tactical.
Yeah, even when they say they own a business, they don't own a business, they own a job. Because when they're not doing the work, how much money is their business making?
Zero.
Zero. So they're tactical. We got to get out of the tactical business. If we're the main cog in the wheel, eventually, for sure, we will become the main cog. Yeah. If we don't have to do any tactical work, we can always train lots of people anywhere in the world how to do what to do. True or true? True. Okay, so we want to be strategic. If we may be tactical at the beginning. In fact, if you read the book E-Myth, how many of you guys have heard the book E-Myth? He actually says the best thing to do is for all the things that you already are good at, you do it first, and while you're doing it, you're creating your operations manual and says, okay, every morning, here's how I open up. I do A, I do B, I do C, I do D. Let me show you how I do A. First I do this, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this. When I'm done with that, then I do B. Let me show you how I do B. And that becomes what's called the operations manual. What's it called?
Operations manual.
So if God forbid that person should get hit by a car or decide to leave for any reason, we're not dependent on the person, we're dependent on the system. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Should a business be based on people or on systems?
Systems.
Why?
So that anybody can do it.
Because people come and people go.
Right.
Because sometimes people are in a good mood, sometimes people are in a bad mood, sometimes people are drunk or hungover or who knows what, true or true.
Right.
But the system is the same every single time. True or true?
True.
So when they leave, you plug somebody else in. If Scott's my number one guy and he leaves and I have no one to replace him and no system to show anybody else, I'm up the creek without a paddle. True or true?
True.
That's why in any business, in any organization, one of the first things you do is you create an operations manual. Do you think most people even think about creating an operations manual?
No.
If somebody said, I got a business for sale, it's all automated, I'll show you my operations manual, you'll love it. I'll show you how everything is done. Would you feel better about buying that business?
Yes.
Yeah, how many of you guys have that? Okay, so you don't have an operations manual, you don't even have a business, do you? You don't. This is fundamental stuff that 99.9% of all self-employed small business entrepreneurs don't either do, don't know, don't care about, don't think it's important, overlook, which is the reason why 1 in 1,000 really make it big. Were you going to say something, Amy?
I was, because a friend of mine that lives here in town, Chris Ronzio,
Yeah.
created a company called Trainual
Exactly.
to handle that for people
Yes.
that don't have it or don't know how to get it, or they don't know where to begin. And so he systematized. He created the system to create your systems.
He did,
Yeah.
absolutely. I know Chris, and I've often thought about connecting with him because his office is just down the road.
Oh yeah, and he's awesome.
A great kid.
Great kid.
I call him a kid. He's not a kid, but to me he's a kid.
He's younger than me. He's younger than me. I call him a kid too.
Yeah, but smart guy, very
Absolutely,
smart guy. I've
yeah.
met with him a couple of times, and you're exactly right. In fact, what he'll do is he has software that you pay a monthly fee for, right? And then if you don't actually want to learn how to use the software and do it yourself, there are experts that you can hire that he'll refer that'll come into your business and do it for you if you don't want to do it yourself. And you know what? I'm telling you, if you're serious, if all of you guys are serious about becoming financially free, you're going to start writing them down and start thinking about and creating operations manuals for everything that's going on in every part of the business. If it needs to be done, it needs to be in the manual. It needs to say, who's the person responsible for doing and getting this result? And who do they account and who do they report to, right? This is all an e-myth, by the way, so you just read e-myth once, right? But at the beginning, because there's 3 parts that you all need to be if you want to become financially free quickly. How many want to become financially free quickly? There are 3 parts of your personality you need to work on. One part is called your tactical person. It's called the technician. What's it called?
Technician.
Yeah, you do what you do to earn money every day. You're a plumber, you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, you're a real estate investor. Whatever it is you do. True. Okay, that's the technician. Now, a technician is the person that does the stuff. Now, the idea is you want to create a system, and so that if this technician leaves, you can just plug in somebody else. Kind of like at McDonald's. If you're a high school student and I train you how to flip burgers and you quit, I can very quickly hire somebody else. It doesn't take long for me to train them how to flip burgers. True. Right, we got it all set up here. We got our systems in place. Right? Okay. Now after comes the technician, comes the manager. The manager is the person to make sure that all the people that are actually doing the work are doing it according to the systems that have been laid out by the organization. Does that make sense? Yeah. They're managing these people, they're making sure the systems are working properly, and the manager doesn't do the work at this point. They're managing the people that are doing the work and making sure that the system is being followed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You need to have that part of you. That needs to be part of your persona, who you become. And then the third part is the entrepreneur, the visionary. Where are we driving this? Where are we going with this sucker? Who are we serving? What problem are we solving? Who's our target market? How do we grow our company? How do we improve what we're doing? How do we improve our brand? What do we got to do? What are new products we could be? They're the visionary. They're the ones that are selling their investors, selling their shareholders, selling to the public, selling their employees, selling their vendors, selling their clients. True. Okay, so if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, which one of those 3 do you think you need to be?
An entrepreneur.
You need to be all 3. You need to be all 3. Now the problem is, most people are just the first, right? They do the tactical stuff. They know what they know. And they are not the visionary. They're not the leader. They're not the person that's built their charisma, that's built their personality, that has the confidence, that knows how to get people to want to follow them. You guys understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, do you think Steve Jobs found people that wanted to follow him? Bill Gates? All these guys, absolutely. You know what? They were all 3. So what I'm going to suggest to you is you want to become all 3, but eventually you do not want to be doing the day-to-day work. You want to be the strategic person, because the strategic person, basically, you're making your money thinking. How many think that's a good idea? And then you're leveraging all the systems and all the other people to get the stuff done. True. Okay, so it's all their energy combined with your thinking energy that's creating your passive income. Is that a good way to go?
Yes.
Raise your hand if you think that's a good way to go. Okay, when were you trained to do that, to live life this way?
From E-Myth. We're trained from E-Myth.
Okay. From E-Myth, yeah. But I mean, for most people, you think they're even aware that this is how they need to be thinking. They need to be making decisions that are going to lead them in this direction. How many think that's true? If you really want financial freedom, what kind of income do you need to create?
Passive.
And you're going to have to use massive leverage. So if you don't have people working with you right now, or if you don't have VAs working for you right now, you are not using leverage. Everything is 100% based on your efforts and your efforts alone, which is 99% of all the people out there. And this is a loser's way to live your life if your goal is financial freedom. True. Okay, so we have to take that program and we have to replace that program, and we say, you know, I'm going to disassociate from that program. What's the word?
Disassociate.
Twice as loud. Disassociate. We need to totally disassociate from all kinds of programs that are contaminating our mind and say, this program does not serve me. I've lived this program now for 34 years or 42 years or however old you are, and I'm not financially free. I'm not even close to it. I need to replace my current programming, and I'm gonna install new programming to change it. How many think that's a good idea? Who's it up to change your program?
Me.
Yeah, is it easy to do?
No.
No, it's not easy to do, but it can be done, and the way you do it is through this word called auto-suggestion. What's the word?
Auto-suggestion.
Yeah, how many read the book Think and Grow Rich? It's the third principle. Desire, faith, auto-suggestion. True. He's telling everybody in the universe, if you want to learn the philosophy of success, here are the principles. The third one is auto-suggestion. What is it? And
Auto-suggestion.
yet nobody does it. Is it a secret?
Nope.
Well, then why doesn't anybody do it? Why doesn't everybody do it?
Be uncomfortable.
It's not,
He says right in the book, here's how to do it.
change is uncomfortable.
Right.
For the next 30 days, you're going to write this out. You're going to say it out loud. Is that so hard to do?
No.
Which part is hard? Writing it out?
Nope.
Well, saying it out loud?
Nope.
None of it is hard, but nobody does it.
Right.
This is why everybody loses. Because it's not that it's hard. It's just everybody's conditioning says, cool, I've read it, I get it, I don't need to do it.
Right.
True.
This is what's going on with everybody out there. You want to be in the top 2%. See, I was blessed that I was a student. I loved to study. So I read Think and Grow Rich the first time I read it like it was going to be like a sports book, and I'm going to read about this hockey player and his life, and read it once and put it away. I finished reading it and I said, holy crap, this is not a book that you read and put away. This is like a book you study. I got to go back to the first chapter and now do everything he said you needed to do. And if he said, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to write this out. You need to say it out loud every day for the next 30 days. Guess what I did? I didn't know anybody else doing that. Nobody had to say, you got to do it. I didn't have a coach or my parent or anybody saying, you got to do it. I just realized this is the formula. It's right, I told the story Acres of Diamonds. How many of you guys know this story? Well, you heard it, yeah, but some of you do not. And it's very, very critically important that you understand the story of Acres of Diamonds. It's a story about a farmer in South Africa who hears tales about these discoveries where people are making fortunes overnight discovering diamonds. Diamonds all over South Africa. And he decides that he's going to sell his poor farm, and he's going to go and he's going to find these diamonds. He's going to get rich. So he sells his farm for next to nothing, and he begins to wander the countryside all over South Africa looking for diamonds. And years go by, and he never finds diamonds, and he dies a poor, broken man. And in the meantime, the poor farmer that bought his farm, was walking along the property one day and comes across one of the streams that went through the farm, and he sees something glistening in the stream from the sunshine. And he goes and he pulls it out, and he takes it into town, and they discover that it's one of the world's largest black diamonds ever. Priceless. And the property that he was on had literally acres of And the first farmer was living on top of acres of diamonds and gave it up for nothing so that they could go look for it somewhere else. What I want to tell you guys right now is that every single one of you right now are living in your own acres of diamonds. You just don't know how to identify them. So you're always looking out there for the acres of diamonds when you're already living in the middle of them right now. How many believe that's true? You don't have to go anywhere else or anything. You don't need to, between who you know and the people they know, you could have everything you want in life. You're already living in your acres of diamonds. You just don't know how to identify them. You don't know how to polish them, how to shine them. But I guarantee you they're there. You read the book, Think and Grow Rich. Not that we're here to talk about secrets of the mean and mind. But if you read the book, Think and Grow Rich, it's a philosophy. What is it, guys?
A philosophy.
A philosophy is made up of principles. What's a philosophy made up of?
Principles.
There are 13 principles in the book. How many?
13.
Yeah. He says, if you do all 13 principles, you will think and grow
Rich.
Yeah. And people read the book once and say, oh, I got it. Put the book away, that's the end of that. That's not the way it works. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. What Harbecker is saying is, your mind is frickin' contaminated with all kinds of stuff to guarantee you will never be financially free. I'm going to write a book that shows you, if you really want to become financially free, how to take all your current software programs that society and your parents and your teachers and everybody else taught you, and we're gonna disassociate from them, and we're gonna recondition our mind and install new programming that automatically leads you towards financial freedom. Your choice. You can keep your old programming if you want to, but if you're serious, how many of you guys are serious about really becoming financially free in the next 12 to 24 months? You have to be serious about disassociating. What's the word? Disassociating. And replacing all your old programming and reconditioning it with really great stuff. True or true? True. And so Harv wrote this book because he said there are 17. How many? 17. Very, very distinct areas. And if you just look at these 17 areas, I can tell you how the vast majority of people, and trust me, Harv knew and I knew because we were meeting people by the thousands every weekend. That's how big our company was. We would go into one city after another city after another city, 2,200 people in this city, 3,000 people in this city, 1,800 in this city, 2,600 in this city. We were getting some really big crowds. And I mean, it was easy to see everybody's blueprint. It was easy. Unbelievable. Now, I will say this. I had the incredible honor of helping Harv build Peak Potential Training into one of the world's largest business and personal success training companies. And the reason that it grew so big so fast is because when I started, we had 35 employees. 35. How many? 35. Yeah, and Harv said to me, he says, Jeff, I want you to go to warrior training. And he says that because I want you to go, and Harv, back then, Harv was leading warrior. Harv was the ultimate warrior, by the way. I mean, he was. I mean, he is, to this day. He's an amazing guy. Not only is he brilliant, he's kind of like fearless. Unbelievable. So Harv said, you're going to come to warrior. So I'm 49, I got my MBA, CPA, lots of real estate, worked in major corporations, managed billions of dollars. What do I need this stuff for, right? So I go, and after Warrior, I'm thinking, wow, this is, and Harv went, already I felt like he was up here, but now he just went to a whole different level. Because when you see somebody in action, and they're just totally frickin' amazing, you know, I mean, you talk about fearless, holy crap. I mean, I knew Harv when we were kids. He became more fearless as we grew. So anyways, so then, eventually, virtually my entire staff, and we grew from 35 to 135 employees, virtually everybody on the staff had gone to warrior training. So when you go to warrior training, you learn some basic fundamental rules, becomes your DNA. Number one is you learn that there's your higher self. Your higher self is when you're vibrating at your highest level, when you're reaching your full potential. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? when your seeds of greatness are really being nurtured and tended to, and you know that this is where you want to be. You want to be vibrating at that level. Raise your hand if you understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Versus your true self, which is the vibration that you're probably vibrating at right now, which is your personality, which is your false self. So the real warrior learns that the warrior is one who conquers oneself. Let me hear you say that.
One who conquers.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, in all honesty, where would you rate that energy level, that answer that you guys just gave me? How you do anything is how you do
Everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, check yourself. You know, when I catch you guys saying you're playing at 100% and then you give me this feeble answer, that's not telling me you're playing at 100%. That's telling me you're in your false self. Your false self controls you. You can't even stay in your higher self for 90 minutes. If you can't vibrate at your highest level here, I guarantee you can't vibrate at your highest level out there. We're not here for me, we're here for you. Aren't you? Raise your hand if you're here to grow. Raise your hand if you're here to learn. Yeah, how many of you want better in your life? More money, more happiness, more success? If that's going to happen, who's it up to make it happen?
Me.
You and only you. How many would agree? How many disagree? Right? So, really important. Okay, what I want to do real quickly is, I want to do our declarations, and then we're going to do the wealth file. And I have, if you've ever been to a peak potentials event, they're one of the only companies I knew of where they actually used to give these laminated cards with our declarations. Now, how many of you guys have ever seen one of these before? Okay, so here, you know what, there we go. So if you don't have one, grab one and pass it around, okay? And what we're going to do is on the card our declarations. Now, who can tell me what a declaration is? Randy, what's a declaration?
A statement that you make out loud into the universe.
Okay, a statement you make out loud into the universe, exactly. So we make these statements because everything is energy. How many would agree? Everything is energy? Yes? Okay, so when we make these statements out into the universe, the statements that we make, do they have their own unique vibrational frequency? Yes, they sure do. So we're sending that unique footprints, stampprint, out into the universe, and also we're hearing it ourselves. Isn't it true that when we say something out loud, we hear it ourselves?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're hearing it at the subconscious level. At what level?
Subconscious.
Okay, where does all change happen? Subconscious level. Okay. All right, so what we want everybody to do is, if you would, please, on the count of 3, let's all stand up with a little bit of energy. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, very good. Okay, we're going to put our hand on our chest. And when we put our hand on our chest, then we can actually feel the physical vibration throughout the cells of our body. True or true? True. Okay, all right, so here we go. I commit to my personal development. Whatever I do it 100% or not at all. How I do anything is how I do everything. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. I choose financial freedom and the lifestyle it provides. My goal is to create passive income streams. I will master the skills and mindset of business. I will never quit until I succeed. I have a millionaire mind. Okay, turn to your neighbor, look him in the eye, give him a high five, say, you have a millionaire mind. You have a millionaire mind. All right, have a seat, have a seat. Okay, so let's get into this wealth file. Wealth file number 15, we actually started it last week, so we're going to pick up where we left off. But wealth file number 15 says, rich people have their money work hard for them. So let me hear you say that. Rich people have their
Money work hard for them.
Poor people work hard for their money. Let me hear you say that.
Poor people work hard for their money.
Okay, so is it true that the harder you work, the more money you make?
No.
No. How many of you guys know people work hard their whole lives, they're broke? So there's not necessarily a direct correlation between working hard and getting rich. How many would agree? So it's not, the idea is to convert hard work into smart work. How many think that's a good idea? Okay. And that's exactly what Hard was talking about. What Hard was talking about was the whole idea is if we want money and we want financial freedom, then this money and this financial freedom is going to come from other people. How many would agree? Right? Okay. And those other people are going to give us their money, and money is just another form of energy. How many would agree? So we would like to have lots of other people giving us their money, which is a form of energy, and in order for them to give us energy, we have to give them energy, right? And they have to feel that it's a fair exchange of value before they're going to do it. True or true?
True.
This is really what we're doing at the subconscious level, right? We're saying, okay, that's worth it, I'll pay the money. True or true? Right? Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so the question is, and we've already started to talk about it, is unfortunately in our society, we were all programmed that the energy we had to put out in order to get the money energy coming back was our own life energy. How many would agree? Okay, how many think that's a good idea? How many think that's a terrible idea? Okay, so then why are we taught that that's how we're going to do it? Why are we taught that's pretty much the only way to do it?
Because that's the only way most people know how to do it, or think they know how to do it.
I know, but there are smart people that know otherwise. How come they don't speak up?
You're selfish.
They're selfish?
Yeah,
They want to keep it a secret?
exactly.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Andrew Carnegie wanted the world to know.
Well, he was
Napoleon Hill, he had Napoleon Hill. He says the world needs to know this. And by the way, how many people in this room, if you wanted to, if you didn't have the book, you get Think and Grow Rich right in a day? For under how much? $10?
right.
Yeah.
How many people in Phoenix, Arizona right now could get that same book for under $10 right now?
All of them.
And how many are going to? None of them.
2%.
Not even. Not even. And of those who do get them, guess how many of them won't even finish reading it once? They'll get halfway through it, then they'll get sidetracked by something else, and that'll be the end of that. True or true?
True.
I'm telling you, we are programmed to sabotage, and we have so many horrendous habits. Horrendous. That sabotage us all day long. And there are two kinds of habits. There are doing habits and there are not doing habits. True or true?
True.
And everything that you're not doing, guess what? You have a habit of what?
Not doing
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. And you know what? The difference between really successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people have the habit. What's the word?
Habit.
Of doing things unsuccessful people won't do. If Napoleon Hill says, you're going to write this out and you're going to say it out loud for 30 days, a successful person, guess what they do?
Write it out.
Yeah, and the unsuccessful person will say, I don't need to do that. I get it. They're smarter than Napoleon Hill. They're
Right.
smarter than everybody.
Right.
I'll take the shortcut. What do I need to invest that 2 minutes a day for the next 30 days? Oh my God. 2 minutes out of the day, like they're not wasting all their time anyways. True or true?
True.
How many hours out of the day do you think you waste?
Few.
Most of them.
Right.
Honestly, most
A lot.
people.
A lot.
Most of them.
Be honest.
A lot.
Do you think you waste an hour a day? 2, 3, 4, 5? How many hours a day do you think you waste? If you spent those 2, 3, 4, 5 hours learning how to become great at marketing, how good would you be in 90 days?
You're proud.
Huh?
You'd be proud.
How many hours a day do you think the average person wastes?
Most of them.
I'm telling you that they say the average person uses 3% of their creative thinking capacity. 3%! That's the average person. Probably some of you guys fall in that category. 3%. That's it. What am I going to wear today? What am I going to eat today? What am I going to watch on TV? That's it. Otherwise, you're in robot mode. How much thinking did it take for you to drive here today? How many of you guys did any concentrating while you were driving, or did the car pretty much drive you? Who, did you have, how many of you guys, like you got here, you don't really remember a lot about the drive? The car pretty much drove you there. True or true? You've done it so many times, we can do it in our sleep, right? Yeah, we're listening to music, thinking about what we're going to do later on. We're not even thinking about our driving, are we? No, absolutely not. That's what I'm saying. We are unconscious people. When you become conscious, when every single thought that bubbles up from your subconscious mind to your conscious mind, you say, hold on a second here. Do I have to believe this thought that just bubbled up? No, that's a brain fart. That's called consciousness. What's it called?
Consciousness.
So that you begin to start filtering out your own bullshit. And until you start filtering out your own bullshit, you know who's buying it?
You are.
You
And you
are
know what it's doing to your life?
messing it up.
It's totally destroying your opportunities for freedom. You are your own worst enemy. You are. If you want to become financially free, the only thing that will stop you is
You.
everything you need to be successful is already available. And so what Harv is saying is, number one is you have to understand that money is just energy. And it takes energy to get energy. And we've all been programmed that it has to be our energy. And he's saying no. He says, I'm going to teach you guys that what you want to do is you want to leverage systems and you want to leverage money. And when you're leveraging money and you're leveraging systems, now the money and the systems, if you're leveraging the right way, will create the energy for people to send you the money. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So you got to get great at creating a system. What can I do that every day, every week, every month, every year, I sell people something and I make a profit? Isn't that the definition of a business system? A repeatable process that produces a
Profit.
Well, in order for there to be a profit, does there need to be a sale?
Yes.
So it has to be a repeatable selling system that produces a profit. Now, if you're, the problem that Harv talks about in this wealth fall is this. If you're in a personal services type situation and you love, let's say you're a massage therapist. You love being a massage therapist. Well, there's only so many hours in a day. You can only do so many massages in a day. True.
True.
Which means that you've capped your income. How many would agree? There's
Yep.
a ceiling on your income.
Yes.
If you guys want to become financially free quickly, the single most important rule is no ceiling on my income. Let me hear you say that.
No ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're selling a pen, can you sell 10 pens, 50 pens, 100 pens, 1,000 pens, 1,000,000 pens? Is there any limit?
Nope.
No. But if you're selling massage therapy, is there a limit to how much
Yes.
massage therapy you can do?
Yes.
Yeah, because there's only so many. So any personal services type situation, you have a problem. So what's the best thing you can do if you're in a personal services type situation? Start a second business. And that business should be based on product sales. What kind of sales?
Product.
Because there's no limit to how much product you can sell.
Right.
If I have a sales training program that sells for $247, it's a digital sales training program. Is there any limit to how many of these digital sales training programs I can sell?
Nope.
What if I said to you, hey, I'll tell you what, I want for you guys to buy it. Not only that, once you buy it, I want for you guys to sell it to all your friends. I'll give you 50% commission. They buy for $300, you keep $150. How many people can I invite to join me as affiliates and help me market and sell my stuff? And every time they sell one, they make $150.
Right.
Lots.
Right? What? Is there any limit to how many of these programs I can sell? No. If I can figure out a system to sell 50,000 a day, how much does it cost for me to have people download my program 50,000 times a day?
Nothing.
What's the cost?
Nothing.
What are my inventory costs?
Nothing.
Shipping costs?
Nothing.
No, I have no cost whatsoever. True. Is that true for you? Is it? Yeah, it sure is. So I mean, you know, you really need to begin to realize that if you start thinking in a totally different way altogether, that you can create systems. And the key word is systems. And I will tell you, I was blessed for 20 years after I got my MBA. I worked for a company called Deloitte. And I used to go into all these different companies, and all day long, for year after year after year, guess what I was examining? Their what?
Systems.
I never saw a business that didn't have systems, ever, until I started working with solopreneurs. They have no systems for anything. They don't even know that they're supposed to have systems. They don't have operations manuals, they don't have systems. They live a haphazard day and a haphazard week and a haphazard life. Raise your hand if you know those people. Raise your hand if you know them intimately. No. If you're serious, you got to get focused, laser locked in. Let's work,
Focus.
guys.
Focus.
Yeah, focus. Okay. So he says the goal is to become financially free as quickly as possible. How many of you would like to become financially free as quickly as possible? How many of you want to work hard for the rest of your life? Okay, so some of you do, some of you don't. Right. I mean, if you want to work hard for the rest of your life, that's always an option. It's your choice. How many would agree? It's your choice. Yeah. People, and you know what? Sometimes people hate to hear the truth. They hate to hear the truth. And you know, if they hate to hear the truth, they'll never be free. How many would agree? Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. He says, rich people can spend their days playing and relaxing because they work smart. They work what?
Smart.
Yeah. He says, they understand and use leverage. What's the word?
Leverage.
Yeah, they employ other people to work for them, and they employ their money to work for them. Now, this is something that you can start working on immediately. And I would really encourage you to really take this to heart. He says one of the biggest problems down towards the bottom of the page of 156 is he says when it comes to the money game, most people don't even have a clue as to what it takes to win. What does it take to win? So he says clarity leads to power. How many would agree?
Yes.
So if you knew that if you had $6,000 a month of passive income and you would be financially free, would that help make your mission a lot easier? Now you know what the target is. How many would agree? If you said, I have $6,000 every month coming in from various income streams where I'm not doing any work, but when you add up all the checks, it adds up to $6,000. I'm not doing any work. How many would like to be in that situation? How many would like to be there in the next year? Okay, then what's the first thing you're going to have to do? You're going to have to focus. What's the word?
Focus.
And the first thing you got to do is, what's the number? What is the number that creates your freedom? And the sooner you get to that number, the sooner you are
Free.
How many want freedom? So if you want $30,000 or $40,000 a month, it's going to take you a lot longer than if you can live on 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. True. But how many believe that within 12 to 24 months, if you find the right system, you could be making $10,000 to $15,000 a month of passive income? See, now, there's no doubt in my mind. You just haven't seen systems that work. Because you can't, if you've never seen it, you can't even imagine it. So it's kind of like, how many of you guys have seen me do the magic box trick? Okay, so magic box trick is an amazing trick. I should do it because a lot of you guys have not seen it another time. But you give me any number between 25 and 100, and I don't care what that number is, and I come up with 24 really creative different ways to get the right answer in the magic box, right? It's a really cool different thing. But all it is, it's a system. What is it?
System.
A template. What's the word?
Template.
Yeah, that's a really smart mathematician thought up. His IQ is probably a million times better than mine, and if he would have left it up to me to figure it out, I would have never figured it out in my lifetime. Do I have to figure it out?
No.
No, he already figured it out for me. All I got to do is he says, well, if you do this, and this, it works. Don't worry about all the work I spent, the years that I spent figuring all this stuff out. This is the end result. It works. Magic. So, you know what? All of you guys need to become magical at creating systems, business systems, repeatable processes that produce a
Profit.
So if you find a way to talk to one person and make a profit from them, then now the only question is how many other similar people can you talk to the same way so you can create a similar profit. True or true? If you're making profit from one store, now how many other similar stores can you create? True or true? Right? So if you're in network marketing and you find a way to sponsor one person, how many different people can you sponsor using the exact same technique? True or true? And guess what you're gonna train the person that you sponsor to do? Same darn thing. Right? I got it all figured out. I'm gonna bring you on board, you're gonna be my business partner now, we're gonna crush it. I'm gonna show you exactly what to say at the beginning. You just get them interested, you bring them to me together, you'll see what I say, and after you've seen what I've said a few times, you got it. Good? All right, let's go. So that's what you do. And everybody, network marketing, in fact, Harv talks about it. One of the fastest ways in 2 years to become financially free, find a network marketing company you're passionate about and market and promote their product. But you've got to be passionate about whatever it is that they're up to. Right? So, for me, that always is the issue, is that I've always had a difficult time finding a network marketing company. I was really passionate about their particular product. But if you are passionate, and how many different network marketing companies are out there?
So many.
And when you sign up with a network marketing company, does it cost a lot of money to get in?
Not
No,
always.
it doesn't cost a lot of money at all. Well, now, are you an independent business person? Can you build a huge organization? Do you have as much opportunity to build a huge organization as anybody else? Who's it up to build that organization?
Me.
Okay, do you think there are people out there that have systems that say, Tim, join my organization, I've got 50,000 people, I'll train you exactly to do what I got. You know, it's $495 to sign up. You're going to come on over to my home. We're going to spend about 4 hours. I'm going to walk you through everything. We'll do a little bit of role playing. You're good to go. You ready to roll?
Yep.
All right, boom, high five, let's go. And now, what are you going to do? You're going to go, you're going to meet people, and those, some will, some won't, so what? Someone's
Waiting.
How many people out there are looking for a good business opportunity right now? Okay, maybe, and they want to be surrounded by the right people. So, you know what? There are a million of them out there. Harv says the fastest way one of the fastest ways is through MLM. How many would agree? But it's like everything else. If you get a bunch of level 1 people and they're part of your organization, you know what kind of results you better expect?
Level 1.
Yeah, they're going to be a headache. They're going to be constantly complaining. They're not going to be showing up. They're not going to ever sponsor anybody. They're just going to be an energy sucker. True.
True.
You want them, I guess, because you're desperate. You want as many people as you can get. But the problem is, most everybody out there is level 1, right? Most people, how many agree that out there, average is level 1 or 2? I mean, by the time you get to level 5, you're already pretty good compared to the masses. If you get to level 8 or 9, holy crap, I want to be around those people. What kind of people do you want to be around? If you're going to build a business, any kind of business, MLM business, any kind of business,
Level
what
10.
kind of people do you want around you? 8s, 9s, and 10s?
Yep.
1, 2s, and 3s? 8, 9s, and 10s. What do you think most people surround themselves with?
1s, 2s,
Why?
and 3s.
The comfort zone.
What Brian just said it. What is it?
Flock together.
Yeah, raise your hand if you agree. That's our comfort zone. We like to be around people we're comfortable with, right? We don't want to be around level 8, 9s, and 10s because they may intimidate us. They might push us. They might expect more from us than we expect from ourselves.
Right.
Level 1, 2s, and 3s, they'll accept whatever you do. True. Yeah, that's it. So what I'm saying is that's why it's so important. Look at the people whose faces are here right now. That the fact that, look, there are no accidents. How many agree there are no accidents? You wouldn't be here right now this morning if you weren't capable of achieving extraordinary results. Extraordinary. You wouldn't be here. The law of attraction is the law of attraction. How many other things could you have been doing this morning besides being here? How many other things could you have been doing? So it's not an accident that you're here. You could have chosen any number of million things. There was a message that you needed to hear today. There was a person you needed to meet today. There was something that happened here today that you were meant to have happen to you because there are no accidents. How many would agree? And I hope you really get this stuff, guys. There are no accidents. And so and none of you guys would be here right now if you weren't totally, completely capable of becoming a financially free person. So clarity leads to power. Let me hear you say that.
Clarity leads to power.
So Harv says, let's be clear. Your goal is to become financially free. First become free, then become rich. But get the freedom first, right? Then you can always keep adding on to the pile. True. If it takes $6,000 or $7,000 for you to become financially free, focus on getting to that $6,000 or $7,000. Then, if you want to keep working, you choose to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But the most important thing is you have choice. What's the word? Choice. Yeah, that's the most important thing Harv wants for all of you guys. He wants for you to have choice. How many of you guys want that choice? Okay, well what he's saying is, you got to be laser locked in, focused, and be prepared for 12 to 24 months to compress 10 years worth of energy into 2 years. And when you do that, you will achieve more in those 2 years than most people do in a lifetime. True. But if you can't even picture it, if you can't even imagine it, you don't even know what's out there. I'm telling you, there are really, really, really great systems. What's the word?
Systems.
That once you learned them, if you just did them, do you think there are systems for using Facebook ads? Raise your hand if you think there are systems.
Yes.
How about for using Google marketing?
Yes.
How about using LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yeah, there are lots of different ways to reach lots of different people. True. If you were meeting with 1 or 2 people that could say yes, and every time they said yes to you, you were creating income, especially because what does Harv say? Harv says you want to create a business that creates passive income. So what are some examples of businesses that create passive income?
Writing a book.
Writing a book, absolutely. Yeah, you write a book. Once you wrote the book, now as you get the royalties as the sales come in. Church or what else?
Rental property.
Yeah, owning rental property, absolutely. It's not totally passive, but it's, I mean, you don't have to be there all day long every day to collect the rent. Yes, go ahead.
Affiliate marketing and like products.
Affiliate marketing of a product, you bet, absolutely. MLM, right? If I say, Randy, I'm going to take you into my arm, buddy. We're going to lock arms together. We're going to the moon together, buddy. And you're going to join my MLM group right now. We're going to make things happen. Right? And now Randy becomes a superstar. And now Randy's going out there and he builds this big long leg. And I get paid an extra $5,000 a month thanks to Randy. Whose work am I benefiting from? Randy. What if I could get 5 more Randys?
You need 4 legs.
Huh?
You need 4 legs.
Okay. I mean, what if I found if I said over the next 12 months, I'm going to find 4 people I'm going to turn into superstars. That's my goal. They got to be charismatic, outgoing, have a bit of a personality about them. They've got a certain energy about them. I'm going to look for and I'm going to find 4. How many? 4 superstars. And all I'm going to do for the next year is I'm going to work with them, I'm going to coach them, I'm going to train them, I'm going to tutor them, I'm going to monitor them, I'm going to help them every way I can. I'm going to turn those 4 people into superstars. And guess what I'm going to train them to do?
Train other people
To find 4 superstars. Not 30 duds. 4 superstars. You're looking for this kind of a person. They have this kind of energy. They have this kind of a charisma. They have this kind of a personality. They have these kinds of desires. They're outgoing. They're, and you say, which one of the categories? Are they a driver? Because we know the different categories, right? So you have, the 4 different categories, right? Okay, so we're looking for a certain type of person. Every single one of you guys right now could get rich in MLM. I guarantee it. I guarantee it right now that every single one of you guys right now in 12 to 24 months, if you found the right product and you know exactly the right kind of people to go after. The problem is, everybody's going after losers. I hate to say the word loser, but the fact is, when it comes to business, they are. And then after they've talked to 30 losers, they think, well, I must be a loser or my product's a loser. No, you're just talking to a bunch of losers. What kind of results do you expect to get when you're talking to a bunch of losers? But most people aren't comfortable talking to winners if they don't feel they're a winner themselves. True or true? So they're out of their comfort zone. Well, if you want to become successful, guess where you got to get? Yeah, you definitely got to get out of your comfort zone. And one of the most important things that Harv says is you have to get into a business of your own. Really, he says, I don't care what business it is under the sun, as long as you can eventually systemize it so that the business can operate with you physically having to be there. How many businesses could you create that over the next 12 to 24 months you could systemize, so between autoresponders and text messaging and VAs, that all the work that needs to be done is being done, and you can pretty much be traveling to
Or
That's easy.
How many believe within 12 to 24 months, if you put your mind to it, you could create that system? Yeah. Do you think you might need some help? Raise your hand if you think you might need some help. Okay. Are there people out there that you think could help you, or are you going to do it on your own? No. But you know what? I guarantee you. You read a few books. You watch 10 hours on YouTube on creating great business systems. You'll pretty much be like 90% smarter than you are right now in that whole area. In 20 hours of research and reading a book or watching videos, right now if you went on YouTube and you typed in how to create the ultimate systems for a startup business, I guarantee you there's tons of videos. Guaranteed. And probably if you went into Google, there's a PDF. What kind of business are you starting? Here's the operations manual for. Probably download it for free. Or a company where you say, here's the kind of company, and say, here's an operations manual for this kind of a company, it's $4.97. Download it. Now, you gotta customize it to your own company, but you already have the foundation already built. $4.97. Raise your hand if you think that's out there. Every answer for everything you want to become successful is waiting for you just to ask. It's not even knowing the answer. It's knowing to ask the right
Questions.
If you start asking the right question, the answers already exist. How many would agree? They're all out there. They're between YouTube, Google, bookstores. I mean, there isn't anything that's recorded anymore that's not online. True.
True.
Yeah, the most brilliant minds in the world. Do you think their thoughts are already recorded online? Yeah, absolutely. So, really, really, really important that you understand that instead of spending your money, you need to save your money to invest it in assets to create what kind of income? Passive income. That's why I was saying that one of the smartest things you can do is if you have a day job or if you have a business where you're selling personal services, you're never going to get rich and financially free from that. How many would agree? You're not going to get rich from your day job or personal services, being a masseuse or anything like that. So the smartest thing you can do is in the evening or on the weekend, you start another business, or let's say you're going to start marketing and selling something. And are there affiliate programs out there so you can market and sell other people's stuff?
Yes.
Are there a few or a lot?
A lot.
How many?
Unlimited.
Millions? In any category that you happen to have a passion in, do you think there are affiliate marketing opportunities for you to sell stuff? And so if you're passionate about gardening, do you think there are affiliate marketing programs for people that are passionate gardeners? Yeah, I guarantee you. How are we doing on time? Thank you. Okay, very good. So what we know for sure is that you can, if you use the right systems, create a business system, a repeatable process that produces a
Profit.
Yeah, so any one of us, in fact, all of us can create that system that operates without us.
Me.
Right? Say it has to operate without me. Let me say that.
It has to operate without me.
So that's your task. That's your goal. That's what your focus should be. What is that one? You only need one. How many would agree? One. You got one, then you can duplicate it again and again and again and again because it's a system. You want your business based on systems, not based on people, because people come and go. True. So, I mean, you know, if you have a business for 10 years, you may have had 50 people do that job, but they all had the same system. True. The system is always the system. Your job is to create a system that you can test and you can prove actually works on a small scale. And once you know it works on a small scale, then you very, very, very rapidly grow. How many understand what I'm talking about? Okay? You start small, you test it small, and then after it works small, so let's say, you know, Amy and I come up with some kind of a business related to cars, and we say, well, let's test this out. Well, let's market this on LinkedIn for certain types of people here in Phoenix. And we do it for 90 days, and man, we get like some incredible results. Holy shit. How many other cities could we do this in?
All of them.
We could be doing this in 50 cities. So instead of making $5,000 a month, what's 50 times 5,000? A month. Let's do it, Amy.
You know not to tease me with a good time, Fagin. Do it.
So, but isn't it just that simple? Isn't it just that? Okay, so what we're going to do is let's stand up and do the declaration. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. Whoa. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do the declaration at the end of Wealth Fund number 15. So I'm going to say it first, and then you guys are going to repeat it. So put your hand on your chest. Okay, thank you. It says, when money works hard for me and makes me more and more money. Let me hear you.
My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money.
Again, please.
My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money.
One more time, twice as loud.
My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money.
Okay, look to your neighbor, look him in the eye, give him a high five, say, you have a millionaire mind. You have a millionaire mind. Randy, you have a millionaire mind.
You have a millionaire mind.
All right, okay. All right. Okay, great. So for those of you that are watching on Facebook, we're going to wrap it up with you guys right now. We're going to have some closing comments here. But thank you guys so much for showing up. And we really, really appreciate it. If you have any comments, or by all means, if you live in Phoenix, we'd love to have you here. We have lots of great food. Thank you guys again. I always end all of my trainings with one word. That one word is
Namaste.